Hello again, everyone. My name is Moira. I'm an SLP from Rooted in Language, and today we're going to talk about sight words. Can't put it off for much longer. So why has the term sight word become so controversial? One of the main problems is the name itself, which reading scientists generally consider to be a misnomer, because we aren't ever reading by sight alone. Well, unless you're a poor reader. Yeah, I said it. So let's back up. What do educators broadly think sight words are? High-frequency words and non-phonetic or irregular words. And what is the conventional approach to these words? Just memorize them because they either can't be sounded out or they're used too frequently to essentially waste time decoding. Okay, let's back up again and address irregular or non-phonetic words. Many words that initially seem irregular don't stay irregular once kids are explicitly taught more phonics patterns. My Instagram post yesterday gave the example of the word could. Now, this word is commonly taught as a just memorize it sight word because of its seemingly non-phonetic spelling. I mean, what's that L doing there? But with just a little explicit teaching of the phonetic patterns and correspondences we see in this word, the letter C says k when followed by an A, O, or U. The letter D says D. In this word, O-U-L is a group of letters that together makes the vowel sound O-U-L says so we can decode this word. K, D. Not only that, you've now learned a phonetic and orthographic pattern that can be applied to other words, allowing you to decode those for accuracy as well, like would and should. People are going to jump on here and argue with me about whether or not the O-U-L should be grouped together to represent a vowel sound or whether the L should be separated out as a silent letter. How you prefer to teach the sound-to-letter correspondences within a word is your prerogative, but that's not the point I'm making. So let's focus. My point is, a word like could, and indeed any word, must undergo the process of orthographic mapping in order to be read fluently and accurately. Meaning, a child hears and learns a word, represents the spoken sounds of that word in their mind, and then maps those sounds onto the letter spelling of the word, figuring out those correspondences and patterns, and always connecting sounds. Why? Because fMRI studies has revealed that phonological processing always occurs during strong word reading, and visually memorizing words doesn't access phonology. Research shows that orthography, or spelling, connects most directly to phonology, even for irregular words. So what about all the high-frequency words that have to be read super quickly for fluent reading? Well, this is where we really get to the heart of what a sight word truly is. I got a secret for you. Actually, it's not a secret. Let's make this common knowledge. Let's shout it from the rooftops. A sight word is any word that is instantly and automatically recognized in print. Researcher Jean Teig says every word has the potential to be a sight word when it grows up. I just love the idea that words, not unlike people, have this growth journey, this maturing that happens over time. And the key to reading fluency is to get as many words into that sight word status as possible. So just memorize all words? No. Completely inefficient, debunked, objectively poor reading instruction. You can fight me on that. I'll flood your inbox with research to back this up. Then constantly try to sound everything out? That would take forever. Well, yeah, it does at first for a new reader, but repeated decoding allows for an amazing process called fast mapping to occur. Basically, as a word is seen and decoded many times, our brains map its phonetic, semantic, and orthographic identities until they are so cemented the word can be recognized instantaneously. You decode a word a lot, it becomes a sight word. So here's your timeline for a typical learner. Kid sees new word, he decodes it, repeat, 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 sight word. A typical learner only needs about 4 repetitions of a word before it's solidified into word form memory. And please don't confuse word form memory with memorizing words. Word form memory is where orthographically mapped words are stored for fast retrieval. They gotta go somewhere. One of the reasons we've had this process wrong for decades is a lack of research, or rather a lack of access and widespread discussion of the research that showed us what was actually happening in the brain when we read fluently and accurately. Because it's truly not obvious just via observation. Educators were saying things like, "But I don't stop and sound out every word I read. I can read most words instantaneously." So, to that argument I say, you're standing under a full-grown tree. You can see everything above the ground, the whole canopy, but you can't see the rings inside the trunk, and you can't see the roots underground. It takes digging and investigation to actually understand those roots, and our tools have gotten better. It's always amazing to me how we can be very proficient in a skill and yet have no concept of how we're actually doing it. The brain is an amazing and complex place, my friends. All this is to say, this is what typical readers and writers can achieve when it comes to fluent word reading. Atypical learners, on the other hand, is a whole nother conversation. They require more specific and explicit instruction and a lot more multisensory and applied practice. We show you, the educator, how to teach using these research-based methods and strategies in our online classes, which can be found at readitinlanguage.com. And for an even more in-depth discussion of the sight word process, please read our blog post titled Aries Phases of Sight Word Reading, which can also be found on our website. Okay, good talk. As always, for more expert guidance on teaching language arts and literacy, keep watching. We've got you covered.